it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts again. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and thank you for hitting play today. I'm afraid it's, why not Wednesday, and so therefore it's why not Christmas in July. You will remember, and I'm going to make this a blatant plug, during July we are doing a fantastic offer for anyone looking to become a demonstrator. I like to think of this as becoming a member of a really exclusive club. So I think it's an easier concept because demonstrator has that emphasis on the fact that you have to run a business, and you don't. More than 80% of the people that are demonstrators for Stampin' Up are not running a business. And that's fine. Stampin' Up are very happy for people to just be their own customer. So let's look at this as a membership fee. And for your £99 membership fee, you normally get £130 worth of product that you get to choose. You don't have to have the set that Stampin' Up have put together, so it can be whatever you want. £130 worth, free shipping, and that's the normal deal. During July, Stampin' Up are offering, if you become a member of my team, they are going to include for you free, over and above the £130 of product that you're already choosing. They are going to add to your starter kit, without you having to do anything else, 2 D blocks. Oops, sorry, that's nudging the table. This is a D block. So 2 of these, a pack of grid paper, a pair of paper snips, a snail adhesive, a bone folder, and this Christmas stamp set. Now this set is going to come out in the new autumn winter catalogue when that's released in September, but you can get it in July as part of the Christmas in July joining membership offer. So I thought I would show you another card using this set, and also using the Be Merry Christmas paper that is in the annual catalogue. So this is already available. So this is what we're using today. And as I say, this is a blatant, if you're looking to spend any money really with me, then please get the kit, because it's such brilliant value. £195 of product for £99, and all you need to do is click the link that will be below this video. What could be better? I've already welcomed a number of new members to my team, and it's brilliant. They're lovely. So I look forward to welcoming you. Okay, blatant plug over. Let's get on to the project. I thought I would just show you the papers. They come in 12 by 12 sheets. This is just a 6 by 6 pack that I've got cut up so that I actually cut into them. There is nothing worse than keeping your 12 by 12 paper at 12 by 12. Cut it and use it. So there's this pattern with these trees on the back, which is what I've used here. These little deer with this hound's tooth on the back. Little Christmas trees with kind of zigzaggy, I don't know quite how you describe that pattern. Little stars with a sort of snowflakey splatter pattern. More ornaments. A wonderful stripe, again with the sort of splatter pattern across it. Then more snowflakes, but in the cherry cobbler. This is cherry cobbler and garden green are the 2 colours on whisper white. And then mittens. Aren't those cute? If you had the patience, you could cut those out and use them as little adornments. I'm not sure I've got the patience, however. We'll have to see. I might do that. You never know. Keep watching. Right, okay, so this is the card. Let's get rid of the bits I don't need. This is the card that I've already prepared. So this is using the garden green and the little Christmas tree paper at the bottom. And I've done a little bit of heat embossing and some die cutting. This time we're going to make it in cherry cobbler. And I have already done a little bit of the die cutting for this, but I will still be going through what I have done. So we're going to use the deer and cherry cobbler. I have die cut from my mat, and this is my usual 5/8 by 3 7/8 mat, I have already die cut from the middle of that mat this scallop square, which is what will go behind the Deck the Halls. And the Deck the Halls I've cut with the largest of the stitched shape framelets, and I will be doing that again in a minute. And this is the second from largest of the scalloped squares in the layering squares set, which is this set. So it's the second largest of the scallops, this being the largest, and the one I've just used is the second largest. And then these are the stitched shape framelets. These are the circles and the ovals, and I've got the square ready to go so that I know where it is, and you can guarantee that when I come to use it I'll have lost it again. So let's pop that back so that I have got that where it needs to be. So let's pop that away. Okay, so we are going to use the Deck the Halls again, and both of these sets of ornaments. Now the ornaments have got in the matching thinlets, which you can order already as a demonstrator, and if you wanted to add these to your starter kit, if you let me know, I can give you the item number and you can add it to your starter kit. So you already saw me use the stars and the moon in last week's video, and this week I'm going to use the ornaments, and both sets of ornaments have got matching framelets. So one goes over there and one, whoops, goes over there. So if you stamp them as a group, which they are in a group on the red rubber, then you can die cut them out individually, which is great. So I have already done some of that, so I've got some of those ready to go, although having said that I have no idea where I've put them. I will no doubt find them in the fullness of time. So let's get started. So actually I think I might know where I've hidden them. Yes, I hid them inside this card. So let's pop those so that they're in front of me so I can lose them later. Right, okay, so that's done, that's done. So the other bits I need are a thick Whisper White card base, and this is A4 cut in half to A5, scored down the middle, folded towards the mountain, so that we have a standard metric card base, which is A6. All of the measurements will be in the associated blog post, which is linked below. Then this is my smaller standard mat, which is 5.5 by 3 3/4, and again that will be in the associated blog post, as will the metric measurements. And then the only other thing I need is just a scrap of Whisper White for stamping on, and that will be for the decorations and the main stamp. Oh, and a scrap of cherry cobbler. So let us get properly started with what we need to do. I don't need those bits for the moment. So I'm going to bring in my cherry cobbler ink pad, which I haven't had out probably since this time last year. So I've got this mounted, complete with cat hair. I've got this mounted on my D block, and just going to lightly tap that and make sure it's properly inked. And then I don't need to worry too much about getting it square because I'm going to die cut this, but I'll try and make it square-ish anyway. And there we go. Oh, it is remarkably square. Right, don't need the cherry cobbler anymore, so let's get rid of that so I don't lean in it. I will, however, need my D block, because that is the best block for the ornaments, so I can take that off and pop it somewhere there. And then while I've got ink out, I will do the stamping on my mat for the ornaments. Now, the ornaments, I strongly recommend you get them lined up on your block before you stamp, because as they're red rubber, you can't see whether they're straight. So put your block onto a grid paper, and then line up. You've got nice straight lines to follow. It's easier if you can get completely over your stamps and that you don't have a camera in the way. However, let's do our best. There we are. Right, and I'm bringing in the crumb cake. And I'm actually going to put a bit of scrap behind that because I want to stamp off. And I would quite like to leave my grid paper reasonably pristine. So just lightly tap to make sure that's properly inked up. And then, doesn't matter which side you put which one, line your mat up with your grid paper, line your block up with your grid paper. Ignore this because that will mislead you as to where square is. And then hopefully this will be square. And it is! Hey! Marvellous! Love it when a plan comes together. And it's gone off the top of the paper, which is what I wanted. So that's that one. Now, same again. Line up your block to your grid paper and then line your stamp up to the grid paper through your block. Now, this is slightly easier because that is basically straight. And this, if you follow from there to there, is straight. So with luck, we've got that straight as well. Right, okay, so again, line your mat up to your grid paper, line your block up to your grid paper and not your mat. And not convinced that that went down properly, but we'll give it a go. Oh, it did. Super. Okay, so love it when a plan comes together. Right. So that's that done. I'm going to pop that to one side just to dry off properly. And then I'm going to bring in, whoops, my Versamark. And of course what I should have done is leave this on the block before I did the other colour stamping, but never mind. I'm not too worried about getting that straight because what I'm going to do is bring in some washi tape, and this is some retired washi tape that I have got lying around. And if I can find the end, I'm going to take a long piece and just cover up holes, and then I'm going to cover up deck. Not all of it, I don't need to cover up all of it, I just need to cover up the top of holes and the bottom of deck. So I've just got the exposed. Then I can, this is an old Versamark that I happen to have, but it's fine. Okay, so I'm then going to ink up my stamp. And I know I'm getting Versamark onto the other bits of the words, but that's fine. I'm going to take my embossing buddy and pop that over the back of my cherry cobbler. Remove both pieces of washi tape, which of course now want to stick permanently to my block because I'm on camera. I can't get the washi tape off and into my bin. You'd think if I was trying to stick it to something it would. Okay, so, and I'm just going to, I'm not going to worry too much about where I'm stamping other than roughly where I need it to be. Stamp that down. Now I can see that that has stamped as I need it to. So I can bring in my gold embossing powder and my, as it happens, cherry cobbler piece of card that I'm tipping. Okay, so that's not quite what I wanted it to look like, in that clearly there was still some ink on the pad from before, but that's fine. I've got a brush that I'm just going to remove the embossing powder either side of the. If your stamp is fully dry after you've cleaned it, which clearly mine wasn't, then this won't happen. But there was obviously some of the cleaner still on the stamp. Okay, but that's all come off without any real difficulty, so that's fine. Pop that to one side so that I don't smush it or spill it. Right, my trusty cheese board and my heat gun, which I need to heat up, so I'll do that under my desk. And then we're pretty close to being done. Okay, so I start off the stamped area and then just bring my heat gun in, and it doesn't matter how many times I see this happen. I love the alchemy of heat embossing. It's just spectacular. Oh, love it. Right, okay, that's that done. Now, I'm not too worried that I've got embossing powder on other areas, because what I'm now going to do is bring in my classic label punch, and actually let's just make sure that's properly set. Bring in my classic label punch, and this just fits from corner to corner, and by corner I mean here, inside the punch. Punch it out, and then with your paper snips, you want to just get rid of the bits underneath and on top of the, because you want those to be as close to the edge as possible. It's probably easier with a slightly larger pair of scissors, but I don't have another pair of scissors to hand at the moment. That's not quite square. Okay, that will do for the purposes of this. Right, so that's ready to go. I'm just going to cut this out with the square stitched framelit, and you'll see it just, and I mean just, fits. I'm going to pop this onto my magnetic platform just to run it through, and then I shall be back. Nice good clonk. We like a good clonk when we're cutting out die cutting. That's the word I'm looking for. Right. Okay. So let's get this put together. I need my little baby dimensionals, and I'm just going to pick them up with a piercing tool because it's easier, and just pop one there, and one there, and actually I just need to trim that down weeny bit. It's slightly bigger than I want it. So actually what I will bring in is, she says, famous last, oh, can't see it for looking. One of these edge pieces will be better for this. That's it. Right. You don't need to smother your little strip with too many dimensionals, because it's just to hold it in place, really. And then pop this over the stamping that you've already done, just so that that is brought up in every sense of the word, really. Right. Okay, so this is going to be stuck onto my cherry cobbler scalloped square, just with a bit of my favourite multi-purpose glue. Pop that there. Brilliant. Love it. Okay, bring this back in. This then gets stuck down here. Now it is going to be slightly longer than the space we are filling it with. and just pop that down. Now I like to use the multi-purpose specifically for this because it gives you a wiggle room, and it also means that you can actually deliberately wiggle it so that it's, you know, it's properly solidly where you want it to be, and there's glue behind the paper. And then just from the back, line your scissors up with the edge of your card and snip down, and then you get a nice clean cut. Now I'm going to stick this onto here, and we don't need to worry that we're minus the square because it's going to be covered up. But whereas I normally would put the glue onto what I'm sticking on top, because I've cut that square out of the middle, I'm going to do it the other way round so that I don't end up having glue all over the back where I don't want it just yet. So that's that. Marvellous. Now I'm going to bring in a piece of the 1/8 inch gold metallic ribbon, and then on the back just put a little bit of fast fuse on both sides, and then just run this across the back and then across the front. Oops, I don't particularly want to cover up quite so much of the reindeer's antlers, but I think I'm going to have to. Sorry, the focusing has probably gone completely doolally, for which many apologies. Right, card base and more fast fuse, as I'm on a fast fuse run. Don't need too much, just in a few strategic places, because fast fuse is pretty solid. Whoops. Once you've got it on there, pop a piece in the middle of the back, and then pop this, making sure that I have the opening where I think I've got the opening. Pop that down. Then dimensionals, and I'm going to use the big dimensionals. Might as well use the edge piece as it's sitting there waving at me. Ooh, don't need that many. And just get rid of the little pieces. I don't actually throw them on the floor, it just looks like I do. They end up on my desk and then end up everywhere, as dimensional backings have a tendency to do. And then just pop this where you fancy putting it, really. So I'll have it there. And then, remembering that I have got my die cuts from earlier, I'm going to bring in that one and that one, and my small dimensionals, which I've now decided they're sticking to my desk. Happy days, the joys of being on camera. And then pop one here, and one there. And we're done! Hurrah! So, only 23 minutes. Right, there you go. Let's get rid of the tatty piece of grid paper. So, same card, just in 2 colourways, and yeah, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So, I hope you enjoyed that. Remember, this is the stamp set that if you join my team this month, and it does have to be in July, you will get this stamp set free, along with all the other bits that make up £65 of additional free product. Just goes into your kit without having to ask for it. So I hope to be able to welcome you to my team very soon. And in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed this project, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. If you want to see more, please subscribe if you haven't already. If you've enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. And as ever, all the information is in the link below. Thanks a lot. Bye!